Hey everyone! Today we are talking about the Commando in the Grim Dawn Basics class combination videos. And the Commando can get really awesome. There's a lot to talk about here. First and foremost, you could play this build in melee or in ranged. You could play it with one melee weapon, two melee weapons, a pistol, two pistols, or a rifle. All with a shield as your offhands for the singular weapon setups. And there are a lot of builds you can actually do with this class. Let's just, on the Demolitionist side, Fire Strike. You can do a Fire Strike Commando very easily. Two pistols with all of the soldiers' defensive bonuses, plus your defensive abilities on the Demolitionist side of things, you can actually get a very solid Fire Strike build in melee or in ranged. Or you could run both, actually. You can do it almost as a hybrid build, where you run a melee version and a ranged version, and it would be completely solid. Yeah, you can do that also with Cadence. And Cadence, you can actually build it as a fire build, because of its conversion on Discord, or you could build it as physical. And speaking of physical, that's actually a crossover here, because with physical and internal trauma damage, you can pick up stun jacks, because they have internal trauma damage on them, and you can go all the way down to O'Learen's Rage, if you really wanted to, for more % internal trauma damage, but there's internal trauma damage on Laceration, on Deadly Momentum, on internal trauma. It's everywhere on the soldier. So yeah, internal trauma damage. It's almost like the soldier's damage, sort of like how Aether is the Arcanist damage, special damage. But there is a little bit on full spread, so you can actually cross over physical and internal trauma damages for this, because that also affects the Grenadier, and this would probably be the best class for doing a Grenadier, because of the physical damage that the soldier has, specifically from Decorated Soldier. You can just have a ton of physical damage between like Temper and Ulzin's Chosen and Decorated Soldier, and attach that to like just spamming all the Granados out. It just makes me chuckle just to think about it. And it could make a really, really powerful Granado build, or a really powerful Stunjacks build. I mean, when you get into some of the more melee range things, like with Force Wave and Blade Arc, you do kind of lose a bit of the synergy that the combination has, but it's still not bad. I mean, I could totally see using making a Force Wave Commando character. It's just, you'd mostly want it for Temper, and then you could maybe use like, Vindictive Flame, and then, I don't know, maybe throw Stunjacks in there. Use flashbangs and concussive bomb as well for defenses. So yeah, you could like stun everything, then just sit there like force waving them, just wave after wave after wave, just taking them all out with what's this called, Tremor. Blade Arc is probably your weakest out of all the abilities. I mean, it does have the internal trauma damage, but it's sort of not what I'm thinking of for crossing things over, because that's the one thing about the internal trauma damage is it's only really passively gained from O'Learen's Rage, I think. Oh, and it's also on Zulhan's technique, but yeah, I think it's only really gained there. So yeah, the internal trauma damage would mostly be to get like O'Learen's Rage and then apply it to like Stunjacks or one of the other abilities. But yeah, there's potential to build that stuff in. Isn't that Counter-Strike? No, it's not. That's bleeding damage. Yeah, the bleeding damage obviously doesn't cross over. But I mean, if you were making, say, a Blackwater Cocktail character, you could do it as a Commando. It's just you would use the soldier as sort of this, like, pick up, field command and all of the passives, and you'd probably be using, I mean, you could use a caster offhand. But you could probably end up using a shield, so you can pick up the shield stuff and get a nice core of defenses around you, just throwing out just tons of flaming bottles of alcohol and flashbangs on top of it. And I mean, yeah, it's just lots of good stuff. It's not a lot to talk about on the soldier side of things because it's like most of what the soldier does is swing weapons at targets. Oh, I should probably also mention that if you're doing a Fire Strike build and you want internal trauma damage in there, you can add in Zul'Han's Technique and Markovian's Advantage. So you could be Fire Striking, suddenly your character does that like Leap Slam thing, that's Markovian's Advantage proccing with your Fire Strike. So it's a bit like the Sabo in that you can have the auto attack things worked in there. And I mean, it's actually a really, really solid class combination. It's definitely in like the upper half of a tier list, if I were to put it in a tier list. I don't really think I have a lot more to say about it. It's kind of a simple concept for the combination. You pick an ability, and then you pick up all your defenses, and you focus on that ability. It's just a lot of the customization from it can come from doing, one-hander with whatever offhand, melee or ranged, or two-hander melee or ranged. It really does leave itself open to to all those setups, or dual wielding even. If you pick up an ability from an item that lets you dual wield. Yeah, it's just a really, really, really solid combination of things. I think the only thing you couldn't pull off would probably be like Mortar Trap and Hellfire Mines, or Thermite Mines. And then maybe Blade Arc would be a little rough. But otherwise, like, yeah, you could build Cadence here, you could build Force Wave here. Blitz is always nice to have on builds. Warcry's a great debuff. I mean, your two exclusive skills work just fine as well. If you're going with Fire Strike or Cadence, you could work in Markovian's Advantage and Zul'Han's Technique. And obviously Fighting Spirit, you could use a shield or a caster offhand or another weapon in your offhand. So if you're using a shield, you can pick up Shield Training and Overguard, and like all these passives just work great. And then like Fire Strike works and Blackwater Cocktail works, and I'd even say Stunjacks works. A Grenadier, this is probably your Grenadier go-to. I'd maybe even say it's a Grenadier go-to above the Sorcerer. And obviously flashbangs are great to have, and I think the only thing is the trappy things aren't as great. But yeah, really, really solid. Definitely an A. I give it an A. And I think I'm done with the Demolitionist combos. So thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll be back next time for the things that combine with Occultist. So Conjurer, Witch Hunter, and I think it just might be those two because we're motoring along through these. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys then.